Elizabeth Cady Stanton was born in 1815. She studied law with her father and quickly became aware of the legal discrimination against women. She married an abolitionist organizer, and she became a strong advocate for the abolition of slavery, as well as prohibition, although her main purpose was fighting for women's rights. In 1840, at the World Anti-Slavery Convention in London, she met Loretta Mott, a Quaker with similar beliefs as hers. Later, she also meets Susan B. Anthony, who also shares her views on social equality. The two founded the NWSA, the National Women's Suffrage Association, later expanded into the NAWSA, National American Women's Suffrage Association. The women teamed up, and on July 19, 1848, the first day of the Seneca Falls Convention was held in Seneca Falls, New York. The first day was strictly for women, as they created the Declaration of Sentiments, which was modeled after the Declaration of Independence. After the completion of the second day, 68 women and 32 men signed their names to the document. Just as in the Declaration of Independence, in the Declaration of Sentiments, there was a list of grievances on how men have mistreated women by not granting them their unalienable rights. Elizabeth Cady Stanton wanted to add voting rights to the list, but Lucretia Mott disagreed, thinking it would be too much for the public to handle at the time. As a result, more of these conventions took place across New York, and eventually more of America. These events were published in the newspaper and received a lot of attention. The anniversary of the first convention in Seneca Falls is celebrated every year. Sadly, nothing happens overnight, and it takes time for this new idea to expand. But no one thought it would take as much time as it did. In 1914, 66 years later, World War I starts, and men are called away to fight, leaving their families and jobs behind. With men fighting in the war, there became a need for factory workers to make supplies for the soldiers. This is when women stepped up and for the first time went to work outside of the home, doing a man's job. This gave women across America a new attitude and hope for social equality and rights movements to again start moving forward. When the war ended, there was a big controversy over what would happen when the men returned. Women had proved that they are just as capable as men in the workplace. Women had held these jobs for 4 years during a time of war and weren't going to give them up that easily. They were going to fight for their jobs just as they had been fighting for their rights for the past 70 years. Their efforts paid off, and within a year, women were granted the right to vote in 1919. This was through the 19th Amendment. This amendment states that the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex. Elizabeth Cady Stanton realized that she should have equal rights as men do, and she fought for those rights. Those rights that some people take for granted today. With more rights comes more responsibility, ensuring that you act correctly not to infringe on others' rights or have someone limit the rights that you rightfully have. Elizabeth Cady Stanton made it her responsibility to earn rights for women. Because of her, women can vote and run for office. Would this be possible without the Seneca Falls Convention and all women that made it their responsibility to be a part of this movement? Life today would be very different without the Seneca Falls Convention. Today, women might not even have had rights without that starting point to this movement. Everything has to start somewhere, and everybody has to start something. And Elizabeth Cady Stanton made it her responsibility to start this movement, and today we can thank her for the rights that women have.